Hello, my name is Melissa from Melissa's Struggling Walk with Jesus. I am here using the Amplified Holy Bible and the Navigator's Bible reading plan to share the Word of God with you. I am working on month 3. Today I will be sharing in this video Deuteronomy chapter 29 through 31. So chapter 29 in the book of Deuteronomy starts out with the covenant in Moab, and it says, "These are the words of the covenant which the Lord commanded Moses to make with the sons of Israel in the land of Moab, in addition to the covenant which he made with them at Horeb, Sinai." Verse 2, Moses summoned all Israel and said to them, "You have seen all that the Lord did before your eyes in the land of Egypt to Pharaoh, to all his servants, and to all his land." Where it says Moses, check out chapter 29, verse 1 in Hebrews. All right, verse 3. "The great trials of Pharaoh, which your eyes have seen, the signs and those great wonders. Yet to this day the Lord has not given you a heart and mind to understand, nor eyes to see, nor ears to hear. I have led you in the wilderness 40 years. Your clothes have not worn out on you, and your sandals have not worn out on your feet. You have not eaten bread, nor have you drunk wine or strong drink, so that you might know that I am the Lord your God, on whom you must depend. When you reach this place, Sihon the king of Heshbon and Og the king of Bashan came out to meet us in battle. But we defeated them. And we took their land and gave it as an inheritance to the tribe of Reuben, the tribe of Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh. So keep the words of this covenant and obey them, so that you may prosper and be successful in everything that you do. All of you stand today before the Lord your God, your chiefs, your tribes, your elders, and your officers, even all the men of Israel." Verse 11, "Your little ones, your wives, and the stranger, resident alien, foreigner, who is in your camps, from the one who chops and gathers your firewood to the one who draws your water." Where it says to the one who chops, this probably refers to a permanent slave population. Check out Joshua chapter 9, verse 27. Verse 12, "So that you may enter into the covenant of the Lord your God, and into his oath and agreement, which the Lord your God is making with you today, so that he may establish you today as his people, and that he may be your God, just as he spoke to you and as he swore to your fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It is not with you alone that I am making this covenant and this oath, but with those future Israelites who are not here with us today, as well as those who stand here with us today in the presence of the Lord our God. For you know how we lived in the land of Egypt, and how we passed through the nations along the way. And you have seen their detestable acts, and their repulsive idols of wood and stone, lifeless images of silver and gold, which they had with them. So that there will not be among you a man or woman, or family or tribe, whose heart turns away today from the Lord our God, to go and serve the false gods of these nations, so that there will not be among you a root of idolatry, bearing poisonous fruit and wormwood bitterness." Verse 19, "It will happen that when he, a renegade, hears the words of this oath, and he imagines himself as blessed, saying, 'I will have peace and safety even though I walk within the stubbornness of my heart,' rejecting God and his law, in order that the watered land dwindles away along with the dry, destroying everything." Where it says, imagine himself as blessed. Other literature has blesses himself in his heart. That is, the renegade imagines that the agreement is one-sided, requiring God to bless him no matter what he does. Verse 20. The Lord will not be willing to forgive him, but then the anger of the Lord and his jealousy will burn against that man, and every curse which is written in this book will rest on him. The Lord will blot out his name from under heaven. Where it says jealousy, for example, intolerance of unfaithfulness. Verse 21. Then the Lord will single him out for disaster from all the tribes of Israel, making an example of him, according to all the curses of the covenant that are written in this book of the law. Now the next generation, your children who come after you, and the foreigner who comes from a distant land, when they see the plagues of this land and the diseases with which the Lord has afflicted it, will say, the whole land is brimstone and salt, a burning waste, unsown and unproductive, and no grass grows in it. It is like the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, Admah and Zeboim, which the Lord overthrew in his anger and wrath. All the nations will say, why has the Lord done this thing to this land? Why this great outburst of anger? Then people will say, it is because they abandoned, broke the covenant of the Lord, the God of their fathers, which he made with them when he brought them out of the land of Egypt. For they went and worshipped other gods and worshipped them. False gods whom they have not known and whom he had not allotted or given to them. So the anger of the Lord burned against this land, bringing on it every curse that is written in this book. And the Lord uprooted them from their land in anger and in wrath and in great indignation, and cast them into another land, as it is this day. The secret things belong to the Lord our God, but the things which are revealed and disclosed belong to us and to our children forever, so that we may do all the words of the law. All right, so Deuteronomy chapter 30, the title is Restoration Promised, and it says, so it shall be when all these things have come on you, the blessing and the curse which I have set before you, and you call them to mind in all the nations where the Lord your God has driven you. Where it says call them, other literature has, returns them into your heart. Verse 2, and you have returned to the Lord your God and have listened to and obeyed his voice with all your heart and with all your soul, in accordance with everything that I am commanding you today, you and your children, then the Lord your God will restore your fortunes in your return from exile and have compassion on you, and will gather you together again from all the peoples and nations where he has scattered you. Even if any of you dispersed are at the ends of the earth, the Lord your God will gather you together from there, and from there he will bring you back. The Lord your God will bring you into the land which your fathers possessed, and you shall take possession of it, and he shall make you prosper and multiply, even more than your fathers. And the Lord your God will circumcise your heart and the hearts of your descendants. That is, he will remove the desire to sin from your heart, so that you will love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, so that you may live as a recipient of his blessing. The Lord your God will inflict all these curses on your enemies and on those who hate you, who have persecuted you. And you shall again listen to and obey the voice of the Lord, and do all his commandments which I command you today. Verse 9. Then the Lord your God shall make you abundantly prosperous in everything that you do, in the offspring of your body, and in the offspring of your cattle, and in the produce of your land, For the Lord will again delight over you for good, just as he delighted over your fathers. Where it says everything that you do. Other literature has the words, all the work of your hand. Verse 10. If you listen to and obey the voice of the Lord your God to keep his commandments and his statutes, which are written in this book of the law. And if you turn to the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, your entire being. Verse 11. For this commandment which I am commanding you today is not too difficult for you, nor is it out of reach. Where it says out of reach, other literature has the word far off. Verse 12. It is not a secret hidden in heaven that you should say, who will go up to heaven for us and bring it to us, so that we may hear it and obey it. Nor is it beyond the sea that you should say, who will cross the sea for us and bring it to us, so that we may hear it and obey it. But the word is very near you, in your mouth and in your heart, so that you may obey it. So Deuteronomy chapter 30, starting with verse 15, the title is Choose Life. And it says, listen closely. I have set before you today life and prosperity, good, and death and adversity, evil. And that I command you today to love the Lord your God, to walk, that is to live each and every day in his ways, and to keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgments and precepts, so that you will live and multiply, and that the Lord your God will bless you in the land which you are entering to possess. But if your heart turns away and you will not hear and obey, but are drawn away and worship other gods and serve them, I declare to you today that you will certainly perish. You will not live long in the land which you crossed the Jordan to enter and possess. I call heaven and earth as witnesses against you today, that I have set before you life and death, the blessing and the curse. Therefore you shall choose life in order that you may live, you and your descendants. By loving the Lord your God, by obeying his voice, and by holding closely to him. For he is your life, your good life, your abundant life, your fulfillment, and the length of your days, that you may live in the land which the Lord promised and swore to give to your fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right, so we're going to move on to Deuteronomy chapter 31. The title is Moses' Last Counsel, and it says, So Moses went and spoke these words to all Israel, and he said to them, I am 120 years old today. I am no longer able to come in and go out as your spiritual and military leader. And the Lord has said to me, you shall not cross this Jordan. It is the Lord your God who will cross ahead of you. He will destroy these nations before you, and you shall dispossess them. Joshua is the one who will go across before you to lead you, just as the Lord has said. The Lord will do to them just as he did to Sihon and Og, the kings of the Amorites, and to their land when he destroyed them. The Lord will hand them over to you, and you shall do to them in accordance with all the commandments which I have commanded you today. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or tremble and dread before them, for it is the Lord your God who goes with you. He will not fail you or abandon you. Then Moses called to Joshua and said to him in the sight of all the peoples of Israel, Be strong and courageous, for you will go with this people into the land which the Lord has sworn to their fathers to give them, and you will give it to them as an inheritance. It is the Lord who goes before you. He will be with you. He will not fail you or abandon you. Do not fear or be dismayed. So Moses wrote this law and gave it to the priests, the sons of Levi, who carried the ark of the covenant of the Lord, and to all the elders of Israel. Then Moses commanded them, saying, at the end of every 7 years, at the time of year when debts are forgiven, at the Feast of Booths, Tabernacles. Verse 11, when all Israel comes to appear before the Lord your God in the place which he chooses, you shall read this law before all the people of Israel, so that they may hear it. Where it says, so they may hear it, other literature has in their hearing. Verse 12, assemble the people, the men and the women, and children and the stranger, resident alien, foreigner, within your cities, so that they may hear and learn and fear the Lord your God with awe-filled reverence and profound respect, and be careful to obey all the words of this law. Their children, who have not known the law, will hear and learn to fear and worship the Lord your God, as long as you live in the land which you are crossing the Jordan to possess. Deuteronomy chapter 31, starting with verse 14, it says, Israel will fall away. Then the Lord said to Moses, behold, the time for you to die is near. Call Joshua and present yourselves at the tent of meeting, so that I may commission him. So Moses and Joshua went and presented themselves at the tent of meeting. Then the Lord appeared in the tent in a pillar of cloud, and the pillar of cloud stood beside the doorway of the tent. Verse 16, the Lord said to Moses, behold, you are about to lie down in death with your fathers, and this people will arise and play the prostitute, commit apostasy with the foreign gods of the people of the land, where they go to be among them. They will abandon and turn away from me and break my covenant which I made with them. Where it says play the prostitute. For example, that means to abandon the true gods for worthless idols. Verse 17. Then my anger will be kindled and burn against them in that day, and I will abandon and turn away from them and hide my face from them. They will be devoured, and many evils and troubles will come on them, so that they will say in that day, is it not because our God is not among us that these evils have come on us? But I will certainly hide my face from them in that day, because of all the evil which they will do. For they will turn to other gods, to worship lifeless idols, to honor handmade relics. But then write this song for yourselves and teach it to the sons of Israel. Put it in their mouth, so that this song may be a witness for me against the sons of Israel. Verse 20. For when I bring them into the land which I have sworn to their fathers, a land of plenty, flowing with milk and honey, and they have eaten and are satisfied and become prosperous, then they will turn to other gods and serve them, and despise and reject me and break my covenant. Where it says flowing with milk and honey, this phrase referred to the abundant fertility of the land of Canaan. Milk, typically that of goats and sheep, was associated with abundance. Honey referred mainly to syrups made from dates or grapes, and that was the epitome of sweetness. Bees' honey was very rare and was considered the choicest of foods. Verse 21. Then it shall come about, when many evils and troubles have come on them, that the sacred song will confront them as a witness, for it will not be forgotten from the mouth of their descendants. For I know their inclination, which is developing even now, before I bring them into the land which I have sworn to give them. So Moses wrote this song the same day and taught it to the children of Israel. Check out Deuteronomy chapter 32, verses 1 through 43. All right, so Deuteronomy chapter 31, starting with verse 23, the title is Joshua is Commissioned, and it says, Then he commanded and commissioned Joshua the son of Nun, and said, Be strong and courageous, for you will bring the sons of Israel into the land which I have sworn to give them, and I will be with you. And when Moses completely finished writing the words of this law in a book, he commanded the Levites who carried the ark of the covenant of the Lord, saying, "Take this book of the law and put it beside the ark of the covenant of the Lord your God, so that it may remain there as a witness against you. For I know your rebellion and contention and your stubbornness. Behold, while I am still alive with you today, you have been rebellious against the Lord. How much more then after my death? Assemble before me all the elders of your tribes and your officers, so that I may speak these words in their hearing and call heaven and earth as witnesses against them. For I know that after my death you will behave corruptly, and turning from the way which I have commanded you, and evil will come upon you in the latter days, because you will do evil in the sight of the Lord, provoking him to anger with the work of your hands." Then Moses spoke in the hearing of all the congregation of Israel the words of this song until they were ended. That is all of chapters 29 through 31.